Hey, what's up, everybody? I feel naked. I like to switch it up and not sort of be identified strictly by having a beard or not having a beard. So I decided to shave it this morning, and I don't like it. Looks weird. I look naked. I feel naked, but we'll see. There's no going back in time, so just gonna have to wait for this thing to grow back out again. I'm Ari Temkin. This is Phantom, and thank you for being on time today. Those of you that are. We got a lot to get to today, so shout out to all you watching the community, the people that are a part of this community, this Cowboys loving community. Here at Phantom, we are putting you at the center of the Dallas sports discussion. So shout out to all of you watching across multiple pages and platforms. I am Ari Temkin. You can catch me on the Dallas Cowboys pre- and post-game show with Jesse Holly. On YouTube, Stevie Mack in the house says, Ari, what's up? Missed the stream yesterday, but the one the other day was fun. I think it got way too off topic in that one. The Monday night stream, yeah, with TJ Carpenter and Josh Briscoe. That one goes a bit off topic, no doubt about that. But shout out to you, Stevie Mack, watching on YouTube. Of course, those of you watching on Facebook as well, across Phantom, facebook.com/watch Phantom. You can spell it like it's spelled right there. And then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys America's team page. Sean Henry in the house, Joe Tranchina, Ryan England, Patrick Kahn, Tyler Cutright, G. Garcia, Dakota Stiegel. That's funny. G. Garcia says, damn it, now you don't look like Manu. And then Patrick Kahn, me forgetting that today is November 1st. Thus, it is No Shave November. So that actually gives me a good idea. Actually, Patrick, I did it on purpose. Today's November 1st, so as part of No Shave November, I've decided to start off November fresh and then grow this thing out throughout the month of November. So good call. It is No Shave November, and yet I shaved on the first day of it. How about that? Vincent Garcia on the Dallas Cowboys report page says, Go Cowboys. Awesome. I do have some news and notes to get to from the Cowboys. Today was their sort of first, real practice for the most part after the bye, getting ready for Tennessee. I will be out at the facility after the show today for the media availability. Dak Prescott will speak with the media, so I'm excited for that. I will also be doing a second live stream today after practice. If I can carve out an area at the Star in Frisco to do that, I will do that. Lori Morales in the house says shared. Gerard Towler says, Ari, you're amazing. Thank you, Gerard. Appreciate you. That's very kind of you to say. Ross McCaden. Ari, always enjoy a good Cowboys discussion at lunch. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for hitting the share button. Marquise Blaze says, yeah, I'm back. Well, thanks for coming back, man. I appreciate that. Curtis Starks. Neil Favre says, what's up, Ari? Joseph Anderson says, talk Spurs. Haha, I do wish the Mavs would have beaten the Lakers last night, though. What up, Joseph Anderson? How are you, brother? How's everything going, man? Long time no talk. We got to get back in touch. How's the baby, more importantly? By the way, Ninja Nuts, do you prefer me to call you Robert Anchetta or Ninja Nuts? I've been meaning to ask you. The reason people are like, why do you call that guy Ninja Nuts? Because he was initially watching the stream on YouTube, and that was his Google YouTube name was Ninja Nuts. But then he came over to the Facebook side, and now he's not Ninja Nuts, he's Robert Anchetta. So I've always just called him Ninja Nuts because it's more fun to say. But I would like to know what your preference is, buddy. Cody Arnold, take a deuce at work every day for an hour to catch the show. JK. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. People may start to wonder why you are in the bathroom for an hour every day at noon, but that's cool. It's all good. This is a judgment-free zone here. If you spend an hour in the bathroom at work watching this show, it's no problem at all. Probably, though, still hit the share button, although people at work, they may see you hit the share button and be like, well, maybe what's going on over there? Anyways, Gerard Tyler says Lakers Nation. Gerard Tyler is a Cowboys fan and a Lakers fan. You must also be a Yankees fan, too. Love you, Gerard. Let's see here. What else we got? I just put you in my hard hat. That's badass. Robert Anchetta doesn't care, so we'll go with the Ninja Nuts then. Keith Bryce says, my wife does not let me shave. So here's the deal with my situation here, because Keith, I think you bring up a very good point, and that is basically that the way we look in a lot of ways is dictated by our wives. I am no different. I may appear to be different, but that's not the case. My wife doesn't traditionally like me having a beard. So really before the last year, I've always looked like this. I've never had a beard. People that know me can attest to that. But I feel like in the last 5-6 months, I've always had a beard because my wife is pregnant. And so I guess I've cared less about what she thinks, and she likes my beard now. Or maybe she just is used to it. At any rate, Keith, you're 100% correct. The looks that we have are dictated by our wives. I'm no different. But who knows what happens when this baby comes out? What's going to happen with the no shaving? I will say this again. Patrick Kahn bringing up that it's no shave November. I shaved on the first day of November to get a fresh start. Get a fresh start on my beard, which is something I thought about beforehand, obviously. I can't stop shaving until I retire. Yeah, and that was another thing too. Is with my former job, I had to shave for it, and then when I didn't have the job anymore, I didn't feel the need to shave. So that was also a part of it as well. Gerard Tyler says, "No, I'm a Cali boy." Okay, I got it. Brad Marshall, Cowboys, Lakers, and White Sox. Hell yeah. Brad Marshall, why are you? I mean, I grew up in Chicago, huge White Sox fan. Why are you a White Sox fan, Brad? Why would you willingly do that to yourself? I mean, I love the White Sox. They're horrible, but that's my team, and you rarely see White Sox fans. Cowboys, it's funny. Cowboys, Lakers, Yankees, the reason I brought that up is because those are like the three iconic franchises in sports. Three most popular franchises in sports. Joe Tranchina says, "Oh my God, am I on the right show? Where's Ari?" It's jarring, isn't it? And you get a pretty good... See, when I have the beard, you can't really make out the butt chin. But yeah, there it is, loud and clear. Boom. And Ninja Nuts, as Laura Morales points out, is really fun to say. It is. I want to know, can you please, Ninja Nuts, tell me why... Like, I'm assuming, since it's a YouTube name, it's like your Gmail account. Is ninjanuts@gmail.com? Is that what it is? And what does that come from? What is the genesis of the name Ninja Nuts? Do I want to know? All right, let's get on to brass tacks. Brass tacks, does that sound right? Let's see here. Just want to check in again on YouTube just to make sure I'm not missing any of Stevie Mac's comments. I feel like I do a personal show on YouTube for Stevie Mac. Patrick Prescott in the house. That's good. Now we have Dak and Prescott. We've got Dakota Stiegel and Patrick Prescott. We've got Dak Prescott watching the show, part of this community. It was awesome. Don't forget Red Wings, Ari Temkin. Red Wings? Oh, iconic franchises? Boo. I grew up in Chicago, Patrick. I hate the Red Wings. And they are not in that same conversation. Maybe like the Canadians or something. All right, let's see. Lori says, I have a butt chin too, and so does two of my children. I hate it, but I think the dimples make up for it. I agree. And I like it. I mean, it's a staple in my family. When my kid was born, he had it. It's like one of the only things that makes him look like me, so it's fantastic, and it's a good trait. It's a good trait. I like the butt chin. But it's funny because I haven't really noticed it like until now because I haven't shaved in a while. But I shaved today to start off No Shave November, and it's jarring. I'm not gonna lie. When I looked in the mirror for the first time, I was like, ah! All right. He says it was originally my game tag for Xbox Live. My buddy was Donkey Nuts, and we kept the nuts going. I'm a martial artist, so I went Ninja Nuts. Okay, makes sense. I didn't think it was like your special move in martial arts was kicking people in the nuts. That's kind of what I was like thinking when I saw it. At first. It was like, oh, that's sounds painful. Joseph Anderson, I'm well and baby's good. Just working on Nemesis and started a new day job with another company. Headed to Houston in a couple weeks for some training. Awesome. Well, congrats on that. Hopefully it's a better job for you. And keep killing it with Nemesis. I know you guys are doing fantastic work, and we've got to touch base again. If you guys don't know and you're into esports, check out Joseph Anderson, Massacre, the legendary esports gamer, one of the OGs in it, Joseph Anderson, and Nemesis, and the great work that he's doing over there. Neil Favre, I'm almost afraid to shave now. Gilbert Anderson from Lafayette, Louisiana. Love your show. Go Cowboys. Appreciate you saying that, man. Thank you. Cole Peterson, Salt Lake City. Go Utes. Should have held on to Carrington. Carrington. Refresh my memory there, Cole. Okay, so thank you to Patrick Kahn, my brother, for sending me a latest and greatest depth chart for the Dallas freaking Cowboys. And so here it is, if you can read that. On my phone, Amari Cooper, Tyron Smith, Connor Williams, Joe Looney, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins, Jeff Swaim, Alan Hearns, Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott, Jameis Olawale. So there you go. You see it there. No complaints except for, well, I guess kind of weird Jeff Swaim is first string, but I'm not really sure if they just do that anyways, even though he's injured. But the second string tight end is Blake Jarwin. Their third string tight end is Rico Gathers, and their fourth string tight end is Dalton Schultz. I mean, I think we've seen enough of Blake Jarwin to know, but I guess not. I guess Garrett's still ready to see more inability to block, inability to catch from Blake Jarwin. So I find that to be interesting. But the one that I thought was interesting, and so did Patrick Kahn, my partner for the Cowboys beat. By the way, you're going to start to see Patrick Kahn more and more on this network. So he does great Cowboys work at Draft Cowboys, so make sure to check him out. And he's also a part of the show every day, which is awesome, which is really cool to have a guy like him who's really well versed in the Cowboys. Mailman Phil in the house. What up, Mailman Phil? How are you? You coming to any more games this year? Finally met Mailman Phil, and that was cool. That's a handful too to say, Mailman Phil. So the Alan Hearns thing, huh? That one it makes no sense. Like, for me, Alan Hearns now, I guess, the starting Y. He was starting the year the X spot for the most part, but now they're basically going, at least on their depth chart, with Amari Cooper at X, Cole Beasley in the slot, and then Alan Hearns is their starter on the weak side outside. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't really understand why. And if I could just real quick check again that depth chart. Is it just that they want? I'm trying to figure out. Is it just that they want? Let's see. Yeah, Gallup in that Y spot. It's not as if they have, Gallup as the second string X behind Amari Cooper. I mean, they have second string behind Alan Hearns. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is your rookie you're trying to develop. He's played better. I mean, Alan Hearns hasn't played well at all this year. He's the veteran. But you're under no obligation whatsoever to not only keep him on the team, but, I mean, to put him at first string when you're trying to develop Michael Gallup? I mean, let's cut to the chase here. Going with Hearns over Gallup makes no sense in any way. Like, there's no logical reason or rationale for why they would have Alan Hearns listed as their first string Y receiver weak side when Michael Gallup has been performing better and better each and every week. He seems to be getting the hang of it. He should be better now because Amari Cooper is a legitimate number one on the outside. Alan Hearns is playing worse and worse week after week after week. He's spoken out about this, this team and the problems of this team. And like, you're developing Gallup. There's no need. Like, they should have cut Hearns. I don't even know why he's still on this roster. He's dropping passes. The best play he's made this entire season was the pass breakup he had a few weeks ago in order to stop an interception against Jacksonville. It's inconceivable, and there's no rationale or there's literally no logic in any capacity whatsoever for why Gallup shouldn't be getting more snaps over Alan Hearns. Richard Parrott says, me too, then draft a wide receiver if that was the goal to get and go get a guy for 5 years. Mr. and Mrs. Torres says, isn't he faster than Cooper or skilled? Hearns? Patrick Prescott, nope, let's get more seed out there. Typo there? Who's seed? Garrett's making decisions, that's why. On Hearns over Gallup. True. Patrick Prescott, speed. Nope, let's get more speed out there. Yeah, or, look, do they have similar skill sets? Probably. Gallup is better, younger, and and you're trying to develop him. So again, it's one thing to, it's one thing if Allen Hurns is playing better, but that's not even the case. So, I mean, there's just no argument to be made in any capacity other than like, well, he's older for Allen Hurns to be out there. Now, maybe they want to give Allen Hurns a fair shake of it now with a legitimate number one, but man, it just seems like a stupid move for many reasons. Tyson, the West Coast Cowboys, calling me. Hey, Tyson. Can't pick up right now. I'm in the middle of a show. But I'll call you back, buddy. I'll call you back after the show when I'm on my way to the Cowboys facility. Everybody hit the share button if you have not yet already. What happened with David Irving? Somebody commented about David Irving. Any news on John Zepeda? Any news on David Irving? Well, what's the news on David Irving? Should there be news on David Irving? Chris Bennett, clean-shaven Ari, Mazel Tov. We've already been through it, Chris. You're late to the show. What happened to your notification, buddy? But yes, I feel very naked. Cody Arnold says Hearns should have been cut and we kept Butler. It makes sense money-wise, too. Yeah, again, I mean, look, I'm not going to disagree with that move. I was the one that said they should have cut Hearns after they traded for Cooper, but obviously they kept him. But the fact that they're now going with Hearns over Gallup on their depth chart, it makes zero sense. So hopefully this is just like a depth chart thing, just for what it looks like. I really, there's no conceivable argument here to be made for Hearns over Gallup in any capacity. And John Zepeda heard David Irving got carted off the field. Holy shnikes. I did not hear that. Nor has Twitter said anything about that. So that sucks if that's true. Let me just check again real quick. Anything? No, this is more like just film study of David Irving. There's also like a very well-known anti-Semite named David Irving who doesn't believe that the Holocaust existed. He's like a Holocaust denier. It's weird. But his name's David Irving. So when you Google David Irving, you get like this weird goulash of like crazy Holocaust denier David Irving, and then like Dallas Cowboys pass rusher David Irving. Oh, this is the second time Tyson's calling me, so should I just pick up on the while I'm doing the stream and we can just talk to Tyson? Should I just do that? Hey Tyson, what's up, man? I'm doing my live stream, but you're on live now. What's going on, man?
What's up with you, man? Man, I was actually calling to ask you a quick question regarding something. One of my scouts was at practice today, and they noticed that David Irving went down at practice and had to be carted off. So I was actually calling you to see if you were at practice today and if you could confirm the story.
So it's funny you say that because so I'm in the middle of my live stream and somebody asked what happened with Irving, and then I Googled it and I was like, nothing. And he said, I heard he got carted off, and then you called. So yeah, no, I heard that too, but I wasn't at practice. I'm actually going to go after the stream today for their media availability. So no, I'll have to see what I hear, but it's funny you called at that time because we were in the middle of talking about that.
Yeah, well, I'm Tyson, West Coast Cowboy over at Dallas Cowboys Scouting, man.
Hell yeah.
Shoot, man. Ari is, just a little backstory, man. Ari is one of those guys I can consider my OG, even though we probably about the same age, but he's a guy that's helped me along in my career. So shoot, he's a guy I always bounce ideas also. But yeah, that's the only thing I really heard. I have a couple people who were around the practice in the start of the day, and they kind of two people verified it for me. So I was like, wow, I need to reach out to my guy and see what's going on. But with Randy Gregory being, I think Randy Gregory, I know he's listed as not playing today. And, with David Irving not, foreseeably not being, we don't know if he's going to be able to play. It's going to be weird seeing what's going to happen over on that right-hand side. I know they've been liking to use Tyrone Crawford at the D tackle,
right.
lately. So, and Taco, he's been we could have a whole show on where we have Taco's been.
Yeah, we've seen more of the same from Taco a little bit the last few weeks, as we did last year. I mean, he certainly started off making plays, but man, he's been a no-show really for the last 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, man. I actually power to the internet because I was so, sometimes you get so focused on one thing that's so obvious that you miss you don't see other stuff that's pretty obvious too, like the offensive line and different things. I think a lot of people got so Dak centric, including myself, that we just you couldn't see a lot of other things. And man, I'm actually kind of upset myself that I didn't notice that Taco has not touched a quarterback since week 2. Man.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Is that
and
not?
Remember,
is that not good for a pass rusher?
Round pick.
Yeah, man.
It's a first-round pick. This is a guy who I know the Dallas Cowboys will probably trying to use to kind of leverage, bring DeMarcus Lawrence's number down. But I mean, there isn't nobody on the team that they'll be able to use to bring DeMarcus Lawrence's number down. So if he gets the sack, they're going to have to pay him.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, and the other thing too is, I mean, he's dealing with an injury. I mean, he's got a bad shoulder. He's going to have a bad shoulder the rest of the year. So, if Irving now is gone, I mean, he's a beast. So that's, man, it's funny. I mean, you called like the perfect time, dude, and I'm glad I picked up because people were asking about it. I wasn't seeing anything on Twitter, and so I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna go to the facility. I'm gonna go to the Star after the show today. Around, I guess that'll be 11 o'clock your time. So I'll hit you up as soon as I know what's going on, man.
Absolutely, thank you, brother. And hey, man, I appreciate everybody and continue to show the love, man.
Absolutely, that's Tyson, West Coast Cowboy from the Dallas Cowboys scouting page. Make sure to go check that out. He's the man. He does fantastic work. He's awesome, and I mean he's plugged in. He's got people that are helping get him the news. So there you go. David Irving appears was carted off during practice today. I don't want to speculate anymore beyond that, but I mean, pass rush has been a major piece to the Cowboys this season and their defense. Obviously, they're a top 5 team in sacks overall. DeMarcus Lawrence was beasting and then had the shoulder injury. Patrick Kahn says, I've asked several about Irving injury, but no one's commented. Well, let me send out a text myself then. Yeah, I mean, that's, again, Irving get carted off the field at practice? See what he says. Okay. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, Neil Favre says typical Dallas misfortune. I'm a pessimist when it comes to this crap. I mean, this is football, and the last thing you think you could ever happen is have an injury during the bye week. But I mean, everybody deals with injuries, and I mean, this could potentially, again, I don't want to speculate on it because I don't really know at all. Keith Jones says, whoa, Ari, what happened to your face pubes? I started off no shave November with a shave. Dakota Stiegel, how bad will it hurt us without Irving? I mean, again, I don't want to speculate. The last thing I want to do is say that Irving is going to miss time, but I mean, I guess who initially asked about Irving, and how did you know that something happened to him at practice? Dakota says, does Tyson do any sports journalism, or is he just more of an opinion podcaster? You could argue what he does is sports journalism, and I mean, you heard he heard from people. He's in Southern California, and he had calls from people saying that David Irving was carted off at practice. So I mean, he goes to a lot of games. He covers the team as much as he can. So no, I mean, Tyson is a sports journalist, no question. Yeah, John Zapata. Where'd you hear, John Zapata, that David Irving got carted off the field? Because that's good information that I didn't hear anything about. Scott Butler, that D-line is still great. Injuries happen. That's why you have depth. Cowboys D-line still has beasts. Well, true, but DeMarcus Lawrence is dealing with the shoulder injury that he's going to be dealing with for the rest of the year, and it's clearly, hurting him. His production hasn't been where it was, so that's clearly impacting him. Randy Gregory hasn't done much. We heard what Tyson said. He hasn't even touched the quarterback since week 2 for Taco Charlton. Dorrance Armstrong, maybe he now potentially gets more snaps. He hasn't been, he's a rookie, so it's going to take some time, but he hasn't been great. So, yeah, look, Tyrone Crawford has been really good this year. He's probably been, aside from Tank Lawrence, their best defensive lineman. Antoine Woods has been good. So, yeah, they still have some players. Don't get me wrong, but John Zapata, I got it off the West Coast page. Well, there you go. West Coast is in the know, man. I live like 20 minutes from the practice facility. West Coast lives in Southern California, and he knew. So there you go. Again, I don't want to speculate. I don't know, but yeah, it's a big loss potentially. If it is a loss indeed. Very important player, very impactful player along a defense that's been really good and dominant at times. So Ryan McBride says, how do you join the chat? Well, I've got to check on the Houston Cowboys page more often because appreciate you joining. You can go to the Houston Cowboys page, or you could just go over to the Phantom stream at facebook.com/watch Phantom. Quickest way to have your comments read. That or the Dallas Cowboys America's Team page. Those two pages are the ones that are the quickest ways to have your comments heard and read. Dallas Cowboys Really Real fan page. I want to get into the Titans in a moment here, but it's weird. Normally I'll go live for breaking type news like this. As you may or may not know, but I'm sort of on the air when this happens. So this will be good for me to be able to go out to the Cowboys facility after this and sort of get some of my questions answered. I don't know that I'll be able to, quite frankly, because I'm sure, we won't know much about it, and I'm sure they won't be saying much about it, but wow. Hearing that David Irving was carted off the field at practice. So, again, I that was from Tyson. I haven't heard anything beyond that, so we'll see. Curtis Harris, Irving didn't practice. He was active in practice. He didn't practice. Kelly Sands says, is this a chat show? I'm out. No sports. Shaving. LOL. Bye, Kelly. Vincent Garcia, go Cowboys. What? I feel like every day I check all these pages and there's no comments, and then the day I don't check, and today I'm getting a bunch. Ahmad Scarber says, what about the safety position we need in the secondary? What about it, Ahmad? Vincent Garcia says, is it true Fleming stepping up in Connor Williams' spot at guard? No, that's not true. Dahlia and Mike Martinez gives the thumbs up. Curtis Stark says, our D-line did great before Irving came back. If he's hurt, he'll be fine. We'll be fine. Well, it's a different team. It's different, DeMarcus Lawrence, when did he suffer the shoulder injury? He was dominant. Hasn't been as much. So getting Irving back from the suspension came at the right time. Curtis Harris says, I meant Randy Gregory. Chris Bennett, Jane Slater, Rap Sheet, Schefter, nothing about Irving. Interesting. All right, I don't want to speculate or comment anything else on David Irving, quite frankly, because I don't know. And I'm going to go to the facility here, and then I'm going to do another live stream after practice today. So just sort of, be close to Facebook around, 2:15, 2:30-ish, and I'll be going live, and I'll give you an update on David Irving. Alex Hernandez, you think Colombo can right the O-line's wrongs? Yeah, I do, and I think most importantly, because the what everybody was saying about Paul Alexander as the offensive line coach was that he changed their technique around, which, as I've said throughout this week, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you come in on an all-pro offensive line and oh yeah, let's change everything? It's completely and utterly nonsensical. Well, I will say from a guy who would know, he said he hasn't heard anything about Irving being carted off. So again, I don't want to comment in any capacity whatsoever on this any more than I have already without going to the facility. Let me just text him back real quick. Scott Butler says Lawrence was the bigger loss. Tank was the total beast before he got hurt. Yeah, and that's what I've been saying. Like it, and look, he's still playing, but I mean he's playing through an injury, and he's not going to be, he's not going to be. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I mean, he's not going to be at the level that we've seen him before. Before he suffered that injury. It's a shoulder injury. Yes, was it torn labrum? Is that what he's dealing with, DeMarcus Lawrence? But it's a shoulder injury, and again, so I mean, yeah, the defensive line was beasting, but now it's a different team. It's a different circumstance. DeMarcus Lawrence is not the same player now that he's got this injury, and so we'll see. Again, I don't want to comment further because I don't know anything about it, so it would be irresponsible for me to do so any more so than I already have. All right, let's take a look at the Titans. So we have a lot of time to preview this game with the Cowboys not Monday. I mean Monday's show at noon will be we'll be more previewing. But the initial look, and I'm going to do a film breakdown at some point, is man, this Titans offense is bad, like horribly bad. Like they're scoring 15 points a game. They can't throw the ball. They're like 31st in passing yards. They're 30th in passing touchdowns. They have no weapons. Tajay Sharp is their best weapon on the outside. They drafted this guy, Corey Davis, with like the 3rd overall pick a couple of years ago. He hasn't done anything. Delaney Walker's on IR. He's been such an important piece to what they do at the tight end position. They don't have any. I mean, they're very similar to the Cowboys, Tennessee, in the way that they're built. They've got a dual threat type quarterback in Mariota. They were built with a great offensive line, and that's where they've invested the majority of their money in their offensive line. But their offensive line has not been very good. And then they lose Delaney Walker, and all of a sudden their passing offense can't do anything. And they've got Deion Lewis and Derrick Henry, a good sort of thunder and lightning complement of running backs. And that's been where they've been, at their best, either getting Deion Lewis the ball out of the backfield in the passing game or just using the ground game. But I mean, this is not a very good offense. And it's funny because I know I've looked at other teams in preparation for Cowboys games, and like the Texans are a good example of this. They looked at the Texans offense and it was like, it's not that good. And then they go up and blow up the Cowboys, the Seahawks. Remember the Seahawks game? Seahawks offense coming in looked horrible. And now the Seahawks all of a sudden are 4-3, and they look like a team that's completely different than the team that got smoked by the Bears in Monday Night Football way back when, week 2. It's funny because when I've sort of done some advanced scouting on some of these teams the Cowboys are playing, offense in particular, they've gone up against a lot of offenses that on film do not look very good. And then when you leave that game, you're like, man, that offense was a lot more credible than I gave it credit. Now, I say all that to say, I just don't know how that's possible this week because they are just so bad at throwing the football. And whether it's the injury to Delaney Walker, whether it's their inability to pass protect. This I don't even know how to read this stat. So the Titans offensive line has given up 22 sacks on the season. The Cowboys offensive line, by the way, has given up 23. So 22 to 23. And Tennessee, coming into the year, kind of like the Cowboys, was being looked at as one of the best offensive lines in football. But 11 of those 22 sacks, 11 occurred in one game against Baltimore 2 weeks ago. 11 of the 22 sacks that 11 of the 22 sacks that the Tennessee Titans have given up this year for Marcus Mariota came in that Baltimore game. So they're not giving up as many sacks as the number 22 would indicate because half of those were in one game, which is crazy. Patrick Kahn says Titans have the third best scoring defense. They do turn teams over. But, like, the thing is, I can look statistically at their defense. And, like, who on their defense scares you? I mean, like, that's the thing is you look at, like, Seattle, like Bobby Wagner, Frank Clark. You know, you look at Houston, obviously, Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt. So you look at some of these teams that the Cowboys have gone up against, and maybe their metrics, the analytics on them hasn't been as good, but they're individual players that just frighten you just because of how great they've been. I don't see that with Tennessee. I don't know why, but I don't. And look, I think Tennessee's defense is why. I mean, this team started 3-1, so they're a streaky team. They started 3-1, and then they have lost now 3 straight. And what's weird is they started 3-1 with good wins: Jacksonville, Houston, and Philadelphia. So like they start 0-1, and then they reel off 3 straight wins: Houston, Jacksonville, Philadelphia. Good teams, right? And then they lose 3 to the Bills, Ravens, and Chargers. Now Ravens and Chargers, okay, but the Bills. So they're a bizarre team. They're hard to get a read on. They're inconsistent. Their offense is bad. They don't have any weapons. They've got a worse. I mean, you could argue even before the Amari Cooper trade, they had worse weapons on the outside than the Cowboys did. Delaney Walker was the one piece to their offense that made their passing game go in recent history, and he's out. They don't have as good of a running game as the Cowboys. So, I mean, this on paper looks like another one of these low-scoring affairs, and probably even more so than some of these other games the Cowboys have gone up against because Mariota's a player, but I just. The thing about Houston's offense that didn't look great when you watched the film, but it's like, well, they still have Deshaun Watson at quarterback. They still have DeAndre Hopkins. So, again, there's one of those things where it's like, I'm not really sure, that the numbers would indicate how good this team really is or how good this team could really be. Neil Favre says cannot go 3-5 in Philly. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, they also, both these teams are coming off their bye. The Titans played in London a couple of weeks ago and then hit the bye. And sorry. Give you an update here in a second, but hit the share button. I think I have an update on DeMarcus Lawrence, but hit the share button if you wouldn't mind. That'd be great. I'd really appreciate that. Their best pass rusher is Derek Morgan. He's meh. Jarrell Casey's good. Right, like that's the thing is Derek Morgan. Jarrell Casey's the one guy that's a pretty decent name. And that's who's they got the kid Malcolm Butler from the Patriots. He's got a couple of picks on the year. But there's like the Titans, they're built on defense, and yet nobody really stands out. Now, you could probably make the same argument for the Cowboys, right? Like, if we were doing this game from the Titans' perspective, they'd probably look at this and be like, well, DeMarcus Lawrence, I've heard of him. He's okay, right? Like, DeMarcus Lawrence is so underrated, severely underrated on the national landscape. I'm not sure people would know who he was, as crazy as that sounds, for a guy that was like number 1 or number 2 in the league in sacks last year. Yeah, Jarrell Casey's their best pass rusher. Scott Butler says, what's up with the new DB from Houston, Deku? He just signed at the 53 today. Yeah, he's 6'2", 208 pounds, 5th-round draft pick in 2017 for the Houston Texans. He fits the bill for Chris Richard's, corners. Not overly athletic. A guy that they're going to use to replace C.J. Goodwin, who they had to put on IR after he broke his arm. So what I mean by that is, you're going to see him on special teams, which means you probably won't notice him much at all. But, trust in Deku. They signed him to the active roster from their practice squad. He now rounds out their active 53. My guess is, you won't see much of him on the field on defense, but you'll see a lot of him on special teams. Trying to think what else. And okay, so can't confirm that he was carted off, but when I do my update after practice, I can give you a pretty better idea of what I'm hearing now on DeMarcus Lawrence. But nothing to be scared of yet on Lawrence. I cannot confirm that he was carted off though. So that's at least what I have for you right now. Sorry, my apologies for such a weird, unprepared show, but I had things prepared, and then we heard about DeMarcus Lawrence. We took the call from Tyson. So trying to figure this all out with some outgoing texts to people. So I'm trying to navigate that. Still managed to put together coherent sentences. Irving. Did I say Lawrence? I meant Irving. Sorry. Good call, Dakota Stiegel. Irving. David Irving. So again, I'm going to do a post-practice stream today. And so I will hopefully have more updates for you on David Irving. Scott Butler says the Cowboys promote Tristan Deku to active roster. Yes, that's correct. We already knew that. Neil Favre, after the Titans going into Philly, it's a short week. So yeah, again, Titans built on defense, not a very good offense. They're 31st in passing offense. They're basically 30th or 31st in every statistical category through the air. They have no weapons on the outside. They've got a decent running game with Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis, but I mean, it's not Zeke Elliott. They don't have Delaney Walker. They have issues with their offensive line, kind of like the Cowboys. They give up 11 sacks against the Ravens. 11, which is a crazy number. So, this game shapes up to be good for the Cowboys because they've had the long layoff. Remember, even though the Titans are coming off the bye, Titans had to come back from London, and they get the extra day on Monday. But the Cowboys, they've been here this whole time. They've been working. Amari Cooper, and now he's seems to have given this team some excitement. So I'm really anxious to see this team what they look like on Monday night because this is a completely different team than we saw on the field in Washington D.C. A week plus ago, 8-9 days ago now at this point. So, look, we don't know how explosive this offense will be, but certainly we believe it'll be a lot more explosive than it's been. G. Garcia says, can you go live in the locker room? Unfortunately, I cannot. All right, but that's it for me right now, guys. Sorry to cut the show short, but I want to get out to Cowboys facility as soon as I possibly can to figure out what's going on here with David Irving. Stay tuned. I'll be back on after practice today, so be sure to check out for that. I'm Ari Temkin. Again, after practice today, close to 2:15, 2:30-ish Central Time. I'll be right back here to give you the latest on what I'm hearing about David Irving and the rest from the locker room here coming up in a little bit. But for now, I'm Ari Temkin for Phantom, putting you at the center of the Dallas sports discussion. Thanks, everybody, for being a part of the show today. But for now, I'm out. Peace, everybody.